Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Don Koziak. I'm a graduate of civil engineering from the University of Alberta. The University of Alberta has one of the top engineering faculties in all of North America, and it is possibly the best education anyone can get. Engineers are builders, problem solvers, and obstacle beaters. Our education teaches us not what is popular, but what works. Engineering teaches you how to use different parts with different characteristics to work together. This is the attitude that I will bring to City Council. How do we solve problems, not who gets the credit. Pundits and columnists have been critical of my campaign, comparing me to how other candidates and other politicians normally behave. Well, they are right. I am not like other politicians. My campaign office is not fancy. I do not have expensive billboards. I do not have a clever slogan. I do not have $400,000 to spend on this campaign because I do not value a politician's ability to raise or spend money. I remain unapologetic. For should I become mayor of Edmonton, I will not be beholden to anyone but Edmontonians. What I do have is a growing number of supporters who feel disaffected by the current administration. This groundswell of support comes from every walk of life and every political persuasion. It includes hardline fiscal conservatives concerned about rising mill rates and value for their tax dollars, and passionate social activists determined to improve the quality of life for all Edmontonians. My campaign is not a campaign of slogans, it is a campaign of ideas. Democracy is well served when there is an exchange of ideas and healthy debate. My campaign does not include dogma, ideology, promote unrealistic or unnecessary projects. Mine is a common sense campaign. Although some might find this approach boring, my common sense ideas will advance the everyday lives of Edmontonians. I've talked about some of my ideas. They are available on my website, donkoziak.ca. Tonight I want to outline 4 more. I genuinely believe that we must work with both the provincial government and with the 23 surrounding municipalities for the mutual benefit of all. To suggest that Edmonton can operate independently of the surrounding municipalities is naive. I want to promote cooperation and collaboration with our municipal neighbors, not engage in open political warfare. That is why I remain confused as to why the current mayor and council resolved to abandon the Capital Region Alliance. The province has stated quite clearly that it requires a workable regional governance model by year's end, so that its precious infrastructure dollars can be spent efficiently and services are not unnecessarily duplicated. But by Edmonton abandoning the Capital Region Alliance, City Council has taken Edmonton away from that important table, and now it appears that the province will craft a regional governance model for us. Sadly, I'm not confident that we will fare any better from the province if we are not collaborating in the decision-making process. After all, our mayor chose to pick a fight with the premier during the first days of this campaign. Although that might be good politics, it is bad governing, and I suspect the result will be a regional governance model imposed upon us. Collaboration, not confrontation, with both the provincial government and the 23 partner municipal councils will be the hallmark of my mayoralty. If elected mayor, I have a plan to improve the flow of traffic within 100 days of taking office. To accomplish this, I have many original ideas. I would have the signal pattern of pedestrian-activated green, amber, red lights modified. Who here has not sat at a red light long after the pedestrian or bicyclist has crossed and wondered why? What if after a few seconds of red, the red began to flash, allowing traffic to continue? After a few more seconds, the light could flash amber, allowing even better traffic flow, eventually returning to green. This idea is easy because it involves marginal costs and provides immediate benefits. Most Edmontonians are frustrated by traffic flow, especially during rush hours. But I believe a cost-effective partial solution exists by modifying signal timing. This is being successfully used in some of the surrounding municipalities where vehicle detection cameras control the timing of intersections. Essentially, lights are controlled by the presence or the absence of vehicles. Furthermore, the city has been installing expensive countdown-timed walk lights, especially in the downtown core. These devices, which I'm advised cost $12,000 per intersection, display the seconds remaining before green turns to amber. They are effective. However, the technology exists to accomplish the same function without purchasing these expensive devices. By programming the flash frequency of the "Don't Walk" sign, drivers will be warned of the impending change to amber. The technology exists and simply requires a programming change. This traffic improvement plan will provide immediate safety benefits with low cost to the Edmonton ratepayer. Lastly, before the asphalt plant's shut down, I would rally City Council to place a few feet of pavement down on 17th Street or White Mud Drive. This would double the capacity of that short stretch of road, drastically improving flow on White Mud Drive during peak hours. From an engineering perspective, I question when and how speed limits are established and reviewed. We need to make sure that the established limits are appropriate for our roads. One of the issues that I would like to spend a minute on is, and doesn't get a lot of glamour coverage, and that is the issue of governance. As you know, currently Edmonton has 6 wards served by 2 councillors each. This system is somewhat unique among major municipalities and has proven problematic. Firstly, the wards are unmanageably large. This makes effective representation nearly impossible. Worse, it leads to a lack of accountability. 2 councillors per ward, invariably buck passing is the result. No councillor is singularly responsible for action or inaction within a ward. Several years ago, the City commissioned a report that came back with a recommendation that we move from our current system of 2 councillors from each of 6 wards to a single councillor from 14 new wards. The current council opted to shelve the report, presumably because the existing system served the councillors well. After all, they were all elected under the current system. Democratic reform, transparency, and accountability are all becoming central themes of citizen demands of good government. Accordingly, if elected mayor, I will promote doubling the number of wards to 12, but not 14, making them single-member constituencies. And speaking of money, I want to close about talking about property taxes. I pledge to keep your property tax increases at or below the rate of inflation, which would be less than the recent rate of increases. Certainly, Edmonton has pressing issues: aging infrastructure, homelessness, a lack of affordable housing, and increased crime. As a result of these demands on the Treasury, we have to scrutinize very carefully the projects being promoted by the current administration. Art galleries, Sir Winston Churchill Square, $100 million to spruce up the river valley, and a proposed new downtown arena. Edmonton does not need 2 16,000-seat arenas, and I remain skeptical that a downtown arena could be built without access to municipal funds or provincial infrastructure grants that need to be deployed elsewhere. Name a new facility anywhere that was built without some government assistance. I and citizens who have been emailing me are becoming increasingly concerned about this growing list of legacy projects. Edmonton needs to focus on its priorities and provisions of core services. It all boils down to a matter of priorities. Pothole repair may be less sexy than shrines in the river valley, but as indicated, mine is not a glamorous campaign. Mine is a common sense approach to improve the everyday lives of everyday Edmontonians.
Dave Dow.
Ladies and gentlemen, am I a serious candidate? What is a serious candidate? Political scientists have been asked, and the response is that in order to be serious, one would have to have a substantial amount of money in order to spend, in order to be serious. So if my budget is the measure of my qualifications, then I come up short. But I do not measure a candidate's worth on how well they can raise or spend money, but on the bang for the buck and the person behind the message. I'm a lifelong Edmontonian, committed to improving this city in whichever way I can. I've run 3 times for City Council, applied for the Police Commission, and the Edmonton Regional Airports Authority. I'm a graduate of civil engineering at the University of Alberta. I'm a businessman who knows what it's like to write a check and not just cash one. I'm married and have children. By those measures, I am a serious candidate.